a war between China and the United States, where the objective is to drive the United States out of the Western Pacific, and the mechanism is Taiwan. So the first thing that would happen would be massive attacks in space, and the Chinese are more than capable of doing that. Massive cyber attacks, and we haven't seen a full national cyber attack out of a country like Russia or China yet. We've seen people playing around the edges. That would cost us incredibly. At the same time,
can you just illustrate what a really serious cyber attack might look like? Because that's chilling. Sorry to interrupt, but I just think.
Good. I'm not too sure myself, and I've asked to be briefed exactly on this, but I haven't got the briefings yet. I imagine that if people were serious about, if a nation was serious about achieving a cyber attack, it could close down it could close down just about everything that had a chip in it. The movement of all our food, every pipeline system in Australia, every gas pipeline, every fuel pipeline, our ports, our banking system, and if you can do that, you can gain yourself days in a country. So if you attack all of these things in America at the same time as you're wiping out space capability, and maybe even using biological, unattributable biological warfare, which kind of we're in at the moment, then you can give yourself hours, days, or maybe even weeks where your adversary will not come back at you. I hope to know much more about a massive cyber attack after the briefings I've been promised. So, John, going on from there, having done that, you can do that in a night. Having done that, the Chinese would be fools to leave on Anderson Air Force Base on Guam hundreds and hundreds of brilliant American aeroplanes that are just waiting there to attack China. They would be fools to live on Diego Garcia, bombers that can fly from Diego Garcia to attack bases, or from the Okinawa bases or the Japanese bases. And without being silly about it, the Chinese have more than the capability. They are the best in the world at rocketry and missiles. And when you overlay the strategic geography of the first and the second island chain with the range of Chinese rocketry, and you look at the numbers of rockets and cruise missiles they have, then you can see that if they choose the time and place, they can wipe every bit of American power in Japan, in Korea, in Guam, and in anywhere else. And that's just about it at the moment. Let's not go as far as Pearl Harbour, and maybe also in Diego Garcia and maybe in Darwin. If they did that in the first day or so, which is the equivalent of the attack on Pearl Harbour, if they did that in the first day or so, and then they moved their small groups of people out into the Philippines to prevent an American fleet when it comes together coming through the Philippines, and you can do that with small land deployed anti-ship missiles, then you have created a situation where they've destroyed American power in the Western Pacific, they have fortified the first island chain, then they can take Taiwan at any time that they like. Now, if you reverse that and take Taiwan first and you're concentrating on Taiwan, the Americans might do something to you. I can see no military logic in that, and the Chinese are not stupid. So I think that if someone is talking about a war between China and the United States, which is based around a Taiwan scenario, let's just remember, I believe that the Chinese must add in the naval and air bases in Japan, in South Korea, in Guam, in Diego Garcia, and and possibly in Darwin. And then the Americans wake up after a couple of days and they say, bloody hell, we've got nothing to attack back. We can bring our other aircraft carriers from other seas. It's going to take us 6 months to get organised in this. They'll have submarines in the area. There's no two ways about it. And we just saw that 3 of their most powerful submarines, a deep suspicion that they have been deployed into the Pacific. Maybe it's because they haven't got any aircraft carriers there. but the Chinese also have a significant anti-submarine capability. Who knows who will win all this? What I'm saying is that a prudent and logical planner would start with the real nature of the threat being the worst case, which I've just described, or maybe a more likely case. And I'm not too sure. I think the worst case is the more likely, but that could be a very interesting argument. That we would plan on that, and then we would say, okay, what's that mean for Australia? What do we want to do for Australia? Maybe we could take that conversation a bit further, John.